podcast for those who love F1 or mainly like it. It could be a choice, it could be mutual, it could be one of those things. Anyway, today we are going to discuss about the bizarreness that happened in Baku and then follow it up with the sunny Spain with the qualifying and free practice that happened. And joining me to discuss it is our regular guest, welcoming him back after a 2-week hiatus. It's Jay.
Hello.
We've got Lard.
Hello.
Will.
Hello.
And Henry, also known as Ted Kravitz in the pit lane chat.
Welcome, everyone.
How are you guys doing? You guys good?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, thank you.
It's good to hear. Good that one person answers for everyone else. Stay tuned to the end of the podcast where we've had one of those rare moments, an outtake. You'll like it. Anyway, we're going to go straight in. And we're going to start the game, which is always a good thing to do. And the first part, we're going to just talk about Bahrain, bloody hell.
Bahrain?
Baku, Azerbaijan.
Well done, Baku. Well done.
Well done.
I know the Williams cars can only get up to 88 miles an hour, but they've not gone back in time tracker.
They've gone back in time to November.
I've got
It was good as 1988.
I've got one of these days. Right, okay. We're going to talk about Azerbaijan and all the bizarreness that happened there. And then we're going to talk about free practice and qualifying in Spain. But in between, we're going to have Henry's news segment. And then we've got one discussion that we're going to talk about probably in the second half when we're all having a bit of a relaxer. Free practice 1, should it be dropped? So we'll have that discussion in the second part of the program. But for the time being, we're going to start up the stream. So we're going to just switch over to the game camera for those of you who are watching live. If you aren't watching live and you're hearing this on the podcast, we broadcast this 8 till 10 on the GMT or BST, whichever one that Britain's in at the time, on the Saturday after qualifying. So, gentlemen, let's start with Baku. Odd race, wasn't it? Well, the bits and pieces that happened.
In terms of an Azerbaijan race, it was surprisingly uneventful for me.
Yeah, it
I agree with
wasn't
that.
great, was it?
No.
I mean, there was a virtual safety car,
Yeah.
and that was about it. And the incident between Kvyat and Ricciardo, which was amazingly not Kvyat's fault.
Yeah, it makes a change there.
Yeah.
I know, that was such a... Well, let's talk about that incident, because I don't think I've seen anything like that in Formula One. Well, not in the race.
I mean,
If I can
did he
remember.
just not look in his mirrors? What was going on?
I think what he's done is he's obviously outbraked himself, and in the heat of the moment, he's just gone, I think Kvyat's gone, I'm going to put it in reverse and go. But Kvyat hadn't gone anywhere because he couldn't get back on the track.
Yeah, it's almost as if Kvyat's car had parked itself directly in the blind spot of the Renault,
Yeah.
and Ricciardo thought he could just spin the car around like a reverse donut or whatever, and just didn't.
Straight into the back. Terminal damage for Ricardo, and ultimately terminal damage for... I might as well just start at the back of the grid, by the way. Terminal damage for Kvyat. Oh, gosh. Come on.
And yet Ricardo actually went to find him in the paddock and apologised to him in front of all the cameras.
Yeah, that's...
No
good
Instagram, no Twitter or anything like that. He just went straight to him and found him and said sorry to him.
That was good
Classy
sportsmanship.
move.
Yeah.
Yeah, genuine mistake though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, you can say it was a silly moment for him, but if you can't see in your mirrors, how do you know?
To be fair, F1 mirrors aren't exactly useful anymore.
No, they're not.
They're more aerodynamic, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
I hope we have a dry race, because this is pathetic from me. I'm gonna finish it's wet conditions. It was bound to happen. I've got 19 seconds to finish quali. I'm just hitting the final corner now.
I'm not even in quali, so I don't know what you've done there.
What?
Oh my god.
You didn't invite Jay.
No.
Oh,
I
for
did
God's
invite
sake.
Well, why am I not in the game then?
Do over.
Hang on, we're going to do a
You
do-over
get a
here.
do-over. You get
Right.
a do-over.
Hang on, let me come out of this and then we'll do a do-over.
And now it's letting me join a session.
Oh.
Oh, now it's
all
not
right, then.
enjoying.
So in terms of starting at the back of the grid, I think I'm at the back of the grid, aren't I?
Jay, yeah, you've joined, so you should be back at the grid. You'll be back at the grid with me.
Sounds like a fix to me. Sounds like a fix.
Well, he said he was Bernie. He called himself Bernie. I'm just saying, he's obviously fixed it, hasn't he?
Bernie
Oh,
Trackerstone.
jeez. Oh, we'll see what happens when we go to race, see if it comes up. Hopefully you're in.
I mean, it's not like I haven't played for 2 of the races and forgotten how to do anything or anything like that, and I need the practice, you know. Honestly.
I don't know how to
So how
respond
about
to that.
Hamilton Bottas, eh?
Yes! Oh, jeez. Hamilton Bottas, yeah. Because the comments from Hamilton afterwards were, if I looked back on it, I would have done it differently, wouldn't it? So the turn 1 differently, which was
Yeah,
which
maybe
is an
not
interesting-
giving him enough room or something.
Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting.
He probably needed to be a little bit more cutthroat on that one to get first. But and to be fair, I don't think he had the power for it. I think Bottas had him covered.
I don't know. That virtual safety car, which I'm sure we'll come to, changed a lot of the race.
It
Jay,
did.
hang on, whoa. Jay's saying it's not saying Jay's in.
Yeah, apparently I'm in spectator mode. Which is better.
Oh,
Right.
Shall we restart then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
main menu. Yeah. Right, let's try this again. 1 second, guys.
I'm still ahead of Tracker as we go into it.
And that's the AI using it because it was a Williams versus. Right, give me a second.
I feel so attacked right now.
Friends.
I blame Tracker.
You always blame me. You blame me for everything.
You are hosting it.
Yeah, I know I'm hosting it.
so it's clearly your fault then.
Yeah.
I've got everyone here, haven't I?
Apologise to the cameras.
Will,
Apologise
Lard,
to Jay.
Jay. Right. Send invite. You guys should have invites.
No new invitations. Can I just join your game directly with them? Do that.
Let me unlock the slot.
Ew, madam.
Oh, this is. Oh, I'm glad
There you go. It showed you it.
Yep, he's in now.
Yeah, it shows you in now. That's good. Right.
Are
Okay.
you sure?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. What's happening?
What's
Put
your
me in,
flag, Jay?
It's the Ukrainian flag.
No, you're in. You're in. It's saying it's invited. So
Okay.
That's how you
tick.
show up. So
Team JWC
Tick.
colours. You know.
right, we'll do it again. Right. So you're starting back at the grid, unfortunately.
Great.
Sorry. Where were we? Yeah, Hamilton. So
qualifying. Come on.
Bottas Hamilton, turn 1. Yeah, he said he wouldn't give him as much room. But would that have led to a collision going into turn 1, turn 2? Could that have been?
I mean, based on previous Baku races, is that a thing that was in the back of his head?
Mm,
And if it was, that's kind of not really Hamilton's deal, is it? You know, it's very rare stuff gets into his head like that.
yeah.
But then, given the start of this season so far, maybe he is starting to have doubts.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've got to get on to qualifying a little bit later on about that as well.
It is a long season, though.
He's certainly
They say that every season, though, Will.
Yeah, but Hamilton, like, post Monaco usually. So if he's getting seconds already, it's not bad for Hamilton. I'll put
It
it
is
that.
bad for Hamilton, though. That's the thing. In his own head, that is bad. He is never happy unless he's on the top step.
this year he does seem a bit different to that than he has in previous. I mean, look at the Leclerc in Bahrain when he was talking to him.
We did say that Leclerc would have probably got pole,
Whoa!
probably won
Who
the race.
smashed me off?
Whoa!
Smashed me off.
God.
Jeez, Jesus. I got caught up in the pile-up that you
I've
two
got a
caused.
drive-through penalty.
So have I for colliding
Colliding
with
with
Ericsson. Me.
Someone punted me and spun me off.
And apparently I've got an illegal overtake on Lard. Do over. Quit to main menu.
No, I'm ahead,
Yep.
I'm ahead of the pairing. Okay.
I've quit to main menu. Sorry.
Oh, I'm definitely ahead of the
Ah,
Sorry.
That's just cheating.
How hang on.
Cheat.
That
Hang
is what happened. You start at the back of the grid. I got through that relatively unscathed.
same
and now
here.
Jacker wants to restart.
Yeah.
I dropped 4
but then-
places and I'm not complaining.
Did you see it said illegal overtake on Lard, cam back position in 5 seconds when he's back on the start finish straight and we're on turn 3.
I did that when we in Lard were racing. I took the DNF.
Fine. All right.
Out. No, we'll quit out.
we quit
It's
out.
It's already
happy.
happened. We can't not quit out.
Yeah, he's.
He has to treat it.
Yeah.
Dear Vettel crybaby. Can we do it over again, please?
I'm thinking more Shamilton, but all right.
Oh jeez.
Nah.
It is all going wrong tonight, isn't it?
It's a complete
Michael Patterson
scam.
one's blaming it on the beard.
Can't blame it on the beard, it
On
don't.
here. Just wait for you, Jay.
It's Roman Monjon.
I'd wait for things to let me join the thing. Why can't I join the? What is the problem? Why won't it just automatically say yes? You got an invite for things.
It's doing it again, isn't it?
No new invitations.
Right, let me invite you again. Hang on.
I'll try and invite
Right,
him.
I've invited you now. You got it?
Don't know. Let's have a look. Yes,
Brilliant.
joining session. There we go.
Join session. Superb. You're in. Let's ready up.
Cool. Am I at the back still?
Yep.
It's not showing its level yet, though.
I'm not according to this. Oh no, I am. Sorry, I'm reading the Drivers' Championship, not the qualifying list. My bad.
Anyway, Bottas versus Hamilton. Third take. Oh my lord. No, it's not a retake of the. It's not a replay of the debacle surrounding Overcooked, Jenny.
Whoever knocked into the back of me, don't do it again.
I'm going to back
It's definitely
off.
tracking them.
Hey, naughty boy!
It wasn't me. It was P19.
It wasn't me because I had a really bad start, but then everybody else collided.
There was.
Yeah, so
Right.
Hamilton seems to be doubting things
Yeah.
already this season, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not what you expect of Hamilton at this point.
Mm.
And it's as Will says, it's a long season, but it's very easy to get left behind if he's not careful. It's easy for everybody to get left behind. I mean, Ferrari's struggling already, but between Bottas and Hamilton having doubts is just not how Hamilton's brain works.
I mean, look how he was when the title fight went to Rosberg.
Yeah.
Rosberg was playing dirty, though. He said that himself.
And Hamilton wasn't. Come on.
Oh, come on. Going off at Monaco so he couldn't make a faster lap. Purposely ramming him off in this race. In
Trying to back up the entire race and it not working because he was just like, nobody was going to overtake. Well, no. Hamilton was as much as fault as Rosberg was in that.
And Perez has took me out.
Lard's out again.
Lars gone. Will's gone.
That was bloody Raikkonen twatted into me.
I'm right behind Jay. I'm following this one a little bit better this time round.
I want to redo. I've come to the back. I'm Tracker. I forgot the
Why would you complain in Tracker's voice till you become more brumming?
Oh, flip. Sorry, Hartley.
No, that was useful.
Oh,
I was
Hamilton.
going to plough it to the back of him if you hadn't have done that, to be fair.
Dear me.
Oh, it's this corner. I remember this corner. I'm going to go off this track so many times.
How far back are you?
Who?
You.
I'm behind you.
Are you?
Who's hit the bollard? The bollard's got a last
No!
one. and now I'm in front of you.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Tracker.
Oh, hey, Will. How are you doing?
Better than you now.
That's new aero package that Will's got. That, you know.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
The new error package, more like.
Oh. So.
Come here for you,
See
Jay.
more of his face now.
So we're saying about Bottas, Hamilton's obviously thinking about the things that are going on and being a little bit more cautious than a lot. Do you think that explained what happened on the penultimate lap of the race when he made the cock up going onto the back straight? Or do you think that's because of the incredible drag that it's the drag that comes out of the back of those cars since they changed the aero rules?
Personally, I think it was the virtual safety car because everybody's tyres went off,
Right.
including Verstappen's, Ferraris, even Bottas's to a point. It was actually the worst thing that could have happened. It was either a full safety car or no safety car is what we needed for an exciting Baku, and it didn't happen.
Well, yeah. Exciting Baku, like I think many have said, it hasn't been exciting Baku really, has it?
There's an incident in the
I
next
don't think it was unexciting. It was just more uneventful.
Yeah.
There is a possibility of having an exciting race without things actually happening. Which sounds a bit of a Will, you cheating fuck.
Yeah, also.
Yeah. He drove straight into the side of me, tried to knock me off the inside of a fucking turn. He's got away with it.
Oh, God.
As I was on the left-hand side, right to the edge of the track.
I was on the inside of the corner ahead of you, and you barged into the side of a car.
This is going to be one of the best podcasts we've ever done.
But no, like I say, I don't think it was unexciting. I enjoyed it as a race.
Mm.
But I think that's possibly because previous Baku races, you've always had that sense that something is going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of kept you alert. You just like, don't take anything for granted with it. And then when we did only get a virtual safety car rather than a full one, then it kind of... It's a weird one. You've got... It's off the back of all the other races is the reason that Baku was exciting despite not a lot happening.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
It
it
was
does.
the most eventful free practice we've probably seen for a while.
True, everything happened earlier on.
Yeah.
You can't have everything happen in the race. It has already happened.
Was it 2 red flags? Obviously, the debacle over the Williams cars. Loads of cars had issues. Raikkonen got disqualified. Gasly got disqualified.
Yeah.
It was, as a race weekend, it was still quite hectic. The race was just quiet.
Yeah.
And the good thing, it did show that the aero package nowadays allowed for closer racing. Rather than how it used to be with the tyres going off if you stayed behind the other car for about, 2-3 laps.
Ah,
Yeah. Oh, Jay went onto the wall.
I do blame the
Oh, what
broadcasters.
is?
Did you two collide?
No, almost sideswiped us. But
I got a warning for that. You ploughed into me.
I didn't hit you. That's the thing. I said it was a near miss.
You definitely hit me because I got spun back around.
Spun around.
Span round.
And meanwhile,
Crikey.
in the pack that's fighting.
This qualifying has been more eventful. Not qualifying. First, how many laps have we done? 4.
Yeah.
More things have happened in that than have in Baku.
You've got a very valid point there. But as you
No
say,
drain covers in Spain, though.
no.
No, they're just living streets of filth.
Isn't there rumours that they're going to be moving the Spanish Grand Prix from
San
Catalonia?
Vot's supposed to be next year.
To Vietnam.
I've heard all sorts of rumours about Spain.
Spain's not on the calendar, is it, at the minute for next year? But apparently they've agreed, or 90% agreed, a deal for it to carry on, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, it's not ruled out for next year, but it's not guaranteed on the calendar for next year either.
Yeah.
A bit like Britain and Silverstone, yeah.
Sounds very much
Yeah.
like Silverstone, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you could get rid of Spain, really.
I think you could get a different track.
I don't think you can get rid of the country. And then you've got to look at the tracks.
Because I've heard
Which-
that
Because
Better ones.
the length here again.
there's Jerez, isn't there? Jerez was the one that...
I don't even know where Jerez is.
That was dirty there, Tracker.
That was not dirty. There was no contact.
That
You were
was.
talking about being dirty, Lard. You ran me off.
Oh, I got-
God.
Are you moaning about even though you're behind me with the sister team beside you? Oh, wait, hang on. Lard is behind me and I'm scared.
Lard is faster than you.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, Lard, let's see how long I keep you behind me.
It was in the press interview beforehand, and all the drivers they interviewed, apart from George Russell, said keep it in Spain, which was quite amusing.
Why did George Russell want to move it?
Because in Formula 2, whatever you want to call it, that racetrack
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I got collided there. Lard, you dirty cheat!
I know, that's both of them. Both of them are playing hardball today, and it's just...
What? There was no such thing as a corner. It was a straight line across two corners. Take the grass, hit a bit of tarmac. Take the grass, hit a bit of tarmac.
Oh, this
Jeez
goddamn...
Louise!
Oh, I hate that back corner. No, I might just retire my car now.
Oh,
I'm off-roading it. I've gone off-road. There's that line of green tarmac on the inside.
I'm surprised you didn't get corner cutting warnings on there.
I did.
All right, okay.
I'd give it a
Illegal
10
overtake.
second-
Hand back to tracker. Thank you.
You can give it a 10-second time penalty for doing a thing that cost me more than 10 seconds.
Are we talking about Kavir here?
Nice.
Oh, hello. Something's gone bing, 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 bing. What's going on in the chat, Henry? Welcome to you. Perfect timing to do that.
Nothing's going on in the chat according to my phone. Nothing's going on. So,
I've got a host. That's what's happened. The immortal-
Henry, what news? There is no news.
there is no news.
I've gone off.
I'll go back down the bar. See you later. Sit 'em out.
I've gone off.
More sangria.
You've got off. What, like cheese?
Jeez. Immortal McLeod, thank you very much for the host, buddy. That's what happened in the chat. Oh, Bottas is gone.
Hey?
Bottas is gone on here.
Yeah, I took him out.
Oh, is that? Oh, right. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
God. Oh.
It's one of those races for everyone, is it?
Cheating.
But I was changing my fuel mix at the time.
Oh, you.
It was accidental, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, should we start the race over again, Tracker?
I think it should. I feel like I've been very hard done by the whole race, to be fair.
We've got a yellow flag. What's going on, yellow flag? Why have we got a yellow flag set to 1?
Push now.
yeah, that's because Hartley took
Oh,
me out.
right,
spun
okay.
me around.
Harley,
I'm
sir.
out.
Okay, clear.
Disqualified for
hate
blocking the
Spain as a
pit
track.
lane.
Hey, it is. Our teammate was disqualified from the session. Oh my
Okay, you're not going to
Lord.
come last. Stay, keep going, keep going.
Mook is now hosting my stream. Thank you very much, Mook.
Just on the Spanish Grand Prix,
Yes.
Carlos Sainz said 2 days ago he thinks it's too late to keep it for 2020.
Really?
Yeah. And F1 bosses suggest 2 Grand Prix will lose their Canada slots for 2020.
Was that Britain by any chance?
Well, I think they've already taken their thing out, haven't they? Have they taken their thing out for next year?
I hope not. That's I think it's Twitch TOS.
Michael Patterson 1, thank you very much for the
Remember,
host.
box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
Have we done on Baku? Have we literally talked about everything in Baku?
No, we haven't talked about everything in Baku. We're talking about Ferrari now because, let's face it, they weren't on the pace all weekend. And then, for some reason,
All
even
season.
Vettel was, well, all season, but then for some reason, after the virtual safety car, their tyres lit up. They were fine.
He did his fastest. Well, he did personal best, didn't he? Straight after the safety car, which is strange.
It was weird.
Is that their tyres lighting up, or did they just turn the engine up?
Good shout.
Yeah, think about fastest lap, which the first race was like, this is going to be really good. The second race, we've gone, well, it's a bit free, isn't it, and a bit cheap. And now we're just like, yeah, whoever's in 5th or 6th just has an extra point. It's lost its lustre a bit already.
2 stops left now. 2 stops.
A bit. It's still interesting, but it's like, yeah. You pretty much know who's going to get it.
But again, I know we talked about it a few episodes back, probably when Jay was here, when I said about F1. You remember when we were talking about race 1000, going into race 1000, F1 1000. I know what you're going to say and everything.
It wasn't race 1000, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. But how we said about, has F1 lost its competitiveness? Is this a pure prime example? I mean, I know we're going to talk about qualifying later, but look at qualifying in Spain, add that up. Is it a prime example of that?
Is that because there's too much money in the system and it's only going to the top teams?
Or did the top teams spend too much money already?
Yeah. Do we need to standardise the budgeting? This is a radical move, I know, but...
Our top
Yeah,
team
they tried that before as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They all just break away and have their own one.
What, Formula Zero?
Sorry, the 1.5.
They can't have
0.5.
Super Formula, can they? Because Super Formula's been nicked by... Who's got
You
Super...
can't have Formula Super League, because that was a weird football motorsport crossbreed that didn't work. Anybody remembers Formula Super League, I'd be really impressed.
Okay, gap ahead is
I think it ran for like 2 seasons,
3
and it was
seconds.
crap.
I don't remember Formula Super League, but I do remember the... Oh, what was the one that was country versus country?
The Nations A1 Cup?
A1.
Yeah, it was A1.
A1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Did that even finish a season? I don't remember.
Lasted, what, 3 seasons?
I think it was
before?
3 seasons. And then it just went bye. This is a great podcast today, guys. We're on form today.
A lot of dead air, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Will shaves his beard. It's all gone Pete Tong.
Don't blame the beard.
His faces
Dope.
are just... Yeah.
Don't blame it on the beard. I think that's the title for this podcast.
Not we all lose the plot.
Yeah.
There's a plot? What? Ooh.
It's not as if we've had any alcohol either. I can't even blame it on that.
Speak for yourself, mate.
I wish I had.
To be fair, we've just had 2.
Because it's 3 o'clock this morning!
We've just had 2 slightly dull races, I think. That's sort of it.
Do we have what Formula 1 has?
Formula 1.
Oh,
We're
no.
having fighting time.
Oh, no. I've got Dave in here. No, I've got Dave. And he's out the window. Oh, no, that's not good. If I hit
Dave?
pause, does the car continue for like a bit by itself?
Um,
I'm going to have to try it. Right, hang fire.
He's come back to his car being like parts in the wall.
He's going to be
On the back
disqualified, isn't he?
straight.
to be fair,
let's
it's
see.
Williams. It's used to being in the wall.
No, it is carrying on with him, without him.
Just very slowly.
It turns out that the race is faster with him on pause.
Well, that was a bit weird. Sorry about that. My cat was trying to escape out the window.
The
Yeah,
F1
leave it. You got another one.
The F1 computer is faster than you. The F1 computer is faster than you.
I love it. I'm having that.
Oh,
It's like Tracker's putting his fastest lap and he wasn't even driving.
Excuse me, my fastest lap was the last lap. Thank you very much, and it was fine.
The last lap, the one you just
Yeah, the
paused
last
down
time
on.
we
I'm still on that lap that the computer's taken over on. If that comes up as the fastest lap, I'll show how absolutely rubbish I am at this.
I'm in the pits.
I got the fastest third sector.
You'll be on the mediums.
was that down to the computer though, yeah?
No, I was the
Yeah.
second off the pace. So,
My God, my car isn't
Talk about-
shaking like a blancmange anymore after doing my off-roading.
talking about Ferrari, Leclerc, smart decision. Well, great recovery. Smart decision to put.
yeah,
them
not,
on. Go on.
not smart to go into the wall though, was it?
No.
No. But great recovery. But is it a smart decision to try and get that extra point, take it off of the Mercedes boys?
Yep, absolutely. If he had a chance to gain an extra point from where he was at the time, why not?
Yeah.
They didn't have it though,
in
did
a
they?
very roundabout way, he's still influencing what's going on in the championship.
Yeah.
He really
It
is.
could
Because
end up
if
being very
Hamilton or
tactical
Bottas don't
towards
have it-
the end of the season. If it ends up being as close as it is now between Hamilton and Bottas, can you imagine other drivers taking the extra point into their own hands?
Yeah.
Well, it is 1 point, isn't it?
Yeah, but over how many races? It's relatively
The car behind
significant.
has come in. They're now
Oh,
on the
God,
soft
yeah.
tyre.
Because isn't it that single point that Bottas got in Australia
Australia,
that's
yeah.
helping him, keeping him ahead
Yeah,
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
1 point?
calling him the
You also
championship
that-
leader, which is really weird.
It is exciting that, as a general F1 fan, to have a point difference 4 races in. That is quite exciting.
I got told off the corner cutting again, and I clearly didn't cut the corner.
Whereabouts are you?
Well, Alonso is out the race.
The chicane before the pit straight.
Alonso was in P1 as well. I think Perez ahead now.
Green flag.
I swear, every single curb on this track is the slippiest curb in the world.
Can't get by Hamilton.
While we're on about the game, has anybody seen the clip to F1 2019?
Not yet.
No, yeah, no.
Oh yes, I watched him.
Yes.
Showed us yesterday. Will
They are incredibly sexy. Trouser rubbing is required.
God, the trouser rubbing's back again.
Nico Rosberg's trouser rubbing.
they're so sexy. Your trousers fly off.
They are though, aren't they, Lard?
They are.
Is it more of a it's so sexy you should be watching it without any trousers? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you know that picture for like Randy from South Park.
I
It's
don't. I
not
try not to
much.
imagine it.
Alright, Hamilton, I'm coming for you now.
You want to pit this lap, so push now.
But yeah, the future of this game is exciting.
Is there any word as to whether it's coming to Game Pass or not?
It won't come to Game Pass for a while.
I feel like it should.
Great maneuver.
Because
Yeah.
they've done that with a few games that they've immediately gone to Game Pass.
It's took 2 years of production, so I take it to get some money back for this one.
Depends
It's
what kind of deal they make
2018.
with Microsoft, I guess.
Yeah, 2018 is like 2017, really.
Yeah.
Just yeah. It's a more
Curves are a bit different. Yeah.
I'm just thinking for
evolution
next
rather than
season
revolution.
tracker.
Sorry?
So I'm just thinking for next year tracker, is this going to come out of expenses? 4 copies of the new F1 game for out of expenses.
We'll see. Perhaps. No. I can't.
Well,
I
you
can't
know.
afford that. I'm barely making enough money to make me ends meet. No,
This lap, please.
that's a bit. Whoa, that's a bit wally. Sausages. There we go. Henry, what's going on in the chat?
Malcolm Patterson says, just leave the game on pause and talk to us instead, Tracker.
That would be better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that.
So I deliberately set my phone up like just out of
no.
my eye line, keep up with the chat, and I've not looked down at my phone once during this because I've been concentrating too hard on not plowing this into the wall.
You don't see F1 drivers on their phone, though, do you, as they're going around? Or pizzas or whatever.
No, just having massive, giant watches on their gloves instead.
Yeah.
That's all about.
Complete. Go now.
Or something
Very,
stupid
very
in your
weird Rolex
shoelaces.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
Oh no, they have to keep their shoelaces as small as possible to save weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Vettel put something in his, doesn't he? It's a luck charm or something like that.
I was going to say, what, his feet?
Yes. An extra pair of
Socky,
I did-
other socky.
Was it Merck today on the coverage? And they said they don't have seams in their pants to save weight.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah, I had that as well.
What?
Yeah, it's when you start hearing things like that, you're just like, what bunch of fucking tools.
And there was
That
Nigel
was-
Mansell
did
with
they
the
use
biggest
to cut
moustache
up?
going.
Yeah, I know. That would have saved a few grams, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Anything else on the chat, Henry?
Oh yeah, Yes has just joined the chat and says hello to everyone. Hello, Yes, sir.
Hello, yes.
And he's
Hello.
also got this game on Game Pass.
Mm.
Yeah,
Now, do I,
because Tim got it on Game Pass as well.
yeah.
So at some point, we need a grid that's all human players and just see how bad we all actually are.
There'll be someone out there who's gonna. Well, no, he's already on the grid. Be better than us. I don't think there's many others.
By the way, he says it. It's not Tracker himself, is it?
No, it's not me. I've never said I was a good player. I just like
Lard, isn't it? Lard.
yeah, Lard.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's the beard.
It's all well and good being good at a game if you just drive into everybody, though, isn't it, Will? Cheap prick.
Oh, the burn.
Wow.
I'll just sit down here in first place with like 30
Yeah, but how the
seconds
hell did
ahead.
you get there? By driving everybody else off the track.
You could do exactly the same.
Not when you're already facing the wrong way because some prick's just driven into you. And it wasn't even for track position.
Jay, welcome back, buddy. Welcome back.
I think you need to direct your complaints to the other Will, not me.
Oh, no, I went to talk to him earlier on as
It's
well,
all
but he
kicking off here.
at least argues that he didn't hit me. You were completely shameful and were like, didn't care.
No.
Lad at least tried to defend himself like a proper F1 driver.
To be fair, you are in the Toro Rosso, right? Or is it the Red Bull?
I'm in a Red Bull.
You're just a Max Verstappen.
Oh, for Christ's
Max
sake.
is a
I would
pro.
rather be a Max Verstappen than be a Hamilton any day of the week.
I'm in a Williams, so what's that say about me?
You look a bit in, really.
Yeah, just a tosser.
Round one, fight.
Ding ding.
It really is, isn't it? Such strong emotions from these two gentlemen.
The competitive juices are flowing.
Yeah, they really are. Oh, well, I was
Just
going
like
to say...
Senna versus Prost.
Yeah,
On 2019 game. Keeps on subject.
I was going to talk about Leclerc's fastest lap, but that was
I
right.
hope that in the new one they at least improved the racing penalties.
Don't know. Just looks a sexy.
It does
Yeah.
look damn good.
I mean, the difference
Bahrain.
between Bahrain.
I've just had
Yeah.
screenshots like kind of dangled in front of my nose, and it's just like, oh wow.
It sounds better as well. It's incredible.
It's not like FIFA where you just slap the next digit on to say it's better, and that's about it.
And move the teams around a bit.
Yeah,
Giving you kits.
6 seconds.
And it's out, what, June 30th?
yeah.
Quite early, yeah.
1 week before
Jeez, more
my
games.
birthday. That's a birthday present from the family that I've requested.
What, 4 copies of it? Wow.
Wow, your family are really good to you.
Nice one, John.
I mean, how many people are in your family?
4.
Exactly.
Jesus. You guys are watching a shambles. You guys are listening to a shambles. Welcome to the Turn What podcast. Let's talk.
Shambolica on the parabolica.
Next driver, Perez. What a race he had, eh?
Yeah.
I think he's just a specialist. He's a specialist around that circuit, isn't he now?
He really is. He
That
was.
Force India looked mighty good, to be fair.
Other than it being bright pink, yes.
Are we still?
Yeah.
When do Force India get their big update to be actually Racing Point? Was it supposed to be this race, Spain, or was
Aren't
it?
they called Racing Point now? Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask Ted about the upgrades, but
Hey, I'm down the bar, mate. Leave me alone for 5 minutes. I'm down the bar, mate.
Ted, it's
Was
your
on the
go.
top.
Aircraft is up.
Can you send a drone to my car with like a double vodka in it?
Oh, I can do, sir. I can
Can I
do.
hover it in front of me and I'll grab it out the cockpit?
Big long straw.
Yeah. Airlifting drinks to cars. That's
The
the
future of
next big
F1.
thing.
Now turn on the sprinklers. What?
F0 if we're now going and improving it like that. Imagine if you had the drone racing championship happening at the same time on the track, and they had to deliver drinks to cars.
Imagine if a pack of wild ninjas started running around.
Formula 1 meets drone racing meets, I don't know, total wipeout, I guess.
Rocket League.
Had it time.
Extra points for the most drinks delivered.
The gap to the car ahead is 1.7 seconds.
I don't know where else I'm going with that, to be fair.
Let's park it, mate. Let's park it.
I thought you were.
Unlike the drones and their drinks. I'll drink to that. If I had a drink in front of me.
I actually watched drone racing the other day. It's
whoa. Drone racing.
Drone
Yeah,
racing.
it's an actual thing.
It's an actual thing. I was watching it was on Free Sports the other day, which is the channel that appeared out of nowhere on my preview box about 6 months ago.
Is it free?
It's free as well, yeah. They've got a premium sports channel as well. It's got Free Sports Premium. It's like what?
What?
It's not free, is it?
Did they say freemium?
Nice overtake.
No,
Oh,
because they're not idiots.
good. They're not EA.
No.
Right, okay.
Ooh, actually.
Anyway, yeah, drone racing is actually a thing, and it was really cool.
Nice.
It's just it's almost presented like an esports kind of thing, but they did a feature where somebody did actually fly a drone like over an F1 track. I can't remember which one it was, and like keeping it in the boundaries and all that kind of stuff. So you could see something
Safety
going
car,
that.
Hey, safety cars been deployed. Why has that
Reduce
happened?
your pace. Keep your delta number.
Probably because you spit off there.
That's fun, but that wasn't the need for a safety car.
I mean, it was fair that you spun because you did barge Hamilton out the way.
Do you think we've got time for a pit stop? That's the question. Oh, do we think we've got time for a pit stop?
I've been told to catch up with the safety car queue and slow down.
Penalty. Slow your pace
I
immediately.
can't do both, mate.
Clearly, you need to speed up and then slow down again.
Yeah.
And it's gone straight into lean mix.
Did anybody watch the women's Formula 3 thing on Channel 4?
You mean the thing that Ted tweeted about?
Yeah.
No,
That you tweeted about.
I retweeted it. I think.
Yeah. I did
That's how I
watch
saw
it. It was sexist.
Go on, tell me what was it? What's it's a? Go on.
So it's Formula 3 cars
Yeah.
driven by a field of female drivers.
Why?
Okay.
8 or 9 races, and whoever wins at the end wins. I think it's £500,000 as
Nice.
a prize.
Why? On what basis are you saying it's sexist?
More like the commentary, and you can't blame the commentary team for this, but it wasn't given the same respect as F1 would have been given for commentary,
Okay,
if
stay
that
clear
makes
of the white
sense.
line on the exit. We'll receive
Just like they were too busy
dangerous
talking about everything else rather than the race. It was a bit. You know, when you
Was the race uneventful, or was it just a case of disillusionment?
crashes at nearly every corner.
Now, is that hyperbole from you, or is that actually true?
They crashed at turn 1, they crashed at turn 2. It was wet, but
Right.
it was.
That sounds like Formula E, to be fair.
Is this an FIA
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, it's official.
It's
Testing
official.
it, kind of thing.
But basically, it felt like one of those conversations you're in, and you're incredibly. Because it's not respectful, if that makes sense. It's hard to describe. It was an atmosphere more than anything. You got Coulthard and some person I've never heard of in the commentary box, and it was like Coulthard didn't know any of the names. He's been hired for the day to talk about. Yeah,
Yeah, but he did that at Was it Goodwood Festival Speed recently? Or it wasn't Festival Speed, it was the other one. Glorious Goodwood. And
Yeah.
they had Coulthard commentated on a race and Webber commentated on a race, and they didn't have a clue who any of the people were.
But
They
since
just commented on the plastic cars that they were driving, which was nice.
serious FIA, championship, it felt like it should have been given that bit more respect. Especially because it's made up to be, this is women's fair chance at race and this, that, and the other. You watched it and you were just like, okay.
If you want women's fair chance at
watch
racing,
it.
let them race against the men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was basically
Yeah.
everybody's opinion, and it was like, well, why are we watching this then?
Agree, because there are some good female drivers out there in the lower leagues, aren't there? In F2, F3. And there's a few
Well,
that
the
are
field-
reserve drivers for Formula One teams, and I think they deserve a shot. They've got to be better than Robert Kubica.
Full. Yeah. It was full of British drivers and European drivers. It was a good mix of, countries represented as well.
Yeah.
Much better than one is.
Oh, I want to box under the safety car, fuck's sake.
But if you do get the chance to watch it, and the chat, I would be interested on your thoughts on it. It is
Oh, that was interesting.
What?
odd.
So, you know how the game normally picks you up in the pit straight
Yeah.
Yeah.
and basically guides you through? No, not a fucking thing.
Oh.
And there's your first F-bomb, I think.
I think it is, yeah. First one of the
Yeah.
night. 2 more until it becomes explicit.
Well, thank God for that.
Well, funker doodle doo.
You fudging fanny pack.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
You damn spoon.
No, J-Dub's in front of me.
To be fair, I
Oh,
think
have I got away with it?
You got away
J-Dub
with
is
it.
quicker than you.
Yeah, everybody's
That's
quicker
a
than
lot,
me,
isn't it,
mate.
that last?
Yeah,
Everybody's
J-Dub's not sliding all over the road.
Come on, the next podcast is Monaco. Guess who's going to retire first?
You.
Yep.
Me.
All of you.
I think we'll just be talking.
deliberately just. I'm going to pause my game and let the computer drive me around.
Oh gosh, he is as well.
I just collided with the safety car.
Raikkonen's disqualified.
Yeah, he overtook the safety car. I hit the safety car. It's glitching at the front, guys.
Go on,
You
Kimmy,
hit
son.
the
Safety car in this lap.
And you've not been disqualified.
Nope.
How does that work out?
Yeah.
Usually you blow up if there's damage on, but if there's no
Right.
damage, then
I've caught Jay.
don't.
That's because we're behind the safety car line.
Yeah, it's good.
That's the only reason you've caught me, so I've had to slow down, mate. Oh, come on, Perez. You're driving around in fucking second gear here.
And it's go at the resumption of the Spanish Grand Prix.
Murray in the box. There we go.
You sound like Murray Walker was literally in a printer. Like,
So,
Where are we? I've spun.
good for you. Whoa! That nearly was
didn't
sorry, I
touch
didn't
him.
mean to. I didn't mean to
touch
shout
him.
that out quite loud there, but
Okay, clear.
Actually didn't touch him, so, you know, safe
You
racing.
glitched through me. Yeah.
Didn't touch you, mate. Didn't touch you.
oh no, sorry, Jay.
Oh, it looks like I can
dirty
catch up
fuck.
immediately.
No. I'm not going to take that one. Jay,
Oh,
catch up. As soon as
wow.
you catch up.
Oh dear,
I'll
old
back off.
Tracker, you should be disqualified for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shamed.
Jesus Christ, Tracker.
No. I'm holding my hands up on that one.
Did you
That
just
was-
underbrake yourself?
Yeah,
What
I did.
happened?
Oh, right. You have every chance to get by me now.
Oh, good. Bye.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
I tried to get Will there.
That's 2 F-bombs now as well, because I swore at you.
Oh, fuck. There we go. Let's make it 3.
That's the set of 3.
At what point do we just make this podcast unpublishable?
It
Exactly.
will always be published. It'll always be published because, let's face it, this is probably one of the worst and yet one of the best we've done so far.
Yeah.
Right, McLaren. They're next after Perez. Good race for them, really. P6, P7. Can't really go wrong with that. I know the strategy to bring Norris in on the virtual safety car to get fresh boots was there to try and get past Perez. Didn't work, but still, good result for the Woking team. Yeah.
Statistic earlier, McLaren have been the most improved team since last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Will. You might as well come past me because I've completely gone off road there. There you go.
But see, me and Jay can race friendly when we want to.
What are you saying? I can't race friendly.
Car in front is 12.5.
The back of my car says no.
The front
The
of
front of
my,
my car says Lard can't either.
the front of
And
my
the side
car.
of my car says that Will can't. The one's got no car at all.
Oh dear. So they're the most improved team statistically.
At least in qualifying, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say in qualifying, they're one of the best now. They're the 5th quickest team in qualifying.
Aren't they like
That,
four?
that doesn't make them one of the best. That puts them middle of the road.
No, because they're better than sort of 6.
Oh, Henry's got
Henry, hello.
Ted!
We've
You've
lost the
gone
pit
under a
lane.
bridge.
We've lost the pit lane.
It's gone.
There we go. He's back.
I don't
I'm back,
feel
mate.
like Mr. Stark.
I don't want to go.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS.
So McLaren.
Yes. Shut up, Henry. What were you saying?
Yeah, Henry. What you saying?
But that's Norbert Collier.
They are, in qualifying terms, they're the 5th quickest team on the grid. Just behind Haas, who are the 4th, on average, the 4th quickest team in qualifying.
Is
It
that-
just
is
shows
that a case of
how
Haas-
improved
Haas
with
aren't-
the
Haas
Renault
aren't
friend.
improving or McLaren are improving more?
That's a dirty cheat.
Right, you don't drive things.
I don't think anybody on here on this podcast can call themselves clean drivers, really, can we?
I can. I'm normally the one who's on the other end.
Yeah, but you've sworn, and that is more of a penalty.
Don't give a shit.
You were just racking up the FIA days you've got to attend, you know.
why do you say that Haas don't play fairly? That's the way I'm wording it.
Well, I believe Karoon or somebody this afternoon have said it's just Ferrari now, but black. They've painted the car black, and that's all there is to say. All the parts are Ferrari now. None of them are developed by Haas.
That's not dirty. That's just being a conscientious sister team.
They're not supposed to be a sister team, Jay. They're supposed to be a purchaser of goods.
Alpha are the big.
Well, if you
Yeah.
go to
We're trailing on
Alpha developed.
let's put this in supermarket terms. Well, if you go to Tesco and buy all Tesco brand's own stuff, what's wrong with that?
Supermarkets are available.
Other supermarkets are available. Yeah, but I'm saying if you buy it all from Tesco rather than going, oh, I have some from Aldi, some from Lidl, some from Asda, that's just intelligent purchasing. Buying it all at the same time. I don't
Yeah,
see what the problem is with
I
that.
think.
Do you call it a Tesco meal, or do you call it it's my own J-Dub special meal?
It depends what you do with the ingredients you've bought.
Well, they're still failing, so
If
you know.
you're going and buying
cheats.
Tesco ready meals, microwave or dinners, you know.
I think,
Like Haas, yeah.
I think that's a subject that it can bring in a lot of debate with Haas.
It was
about-
on Channel 4 last
They-
week.
They
You can't
basically.
know what they're doing. That's the problem.
No, my tyres.
Just Diner was talking about it himself. It was interesting.
I've finally got DRS off a car in this race. The first time in this race I've had DRS.
My tyres are absolutely shot. Right, I've got nothing to lose. Let's go super soft, so get them on, and I'll just go for it. I'm 15 to 15. Let's just get in the pits, get me changed, do that.
Try and catch me up before the end of the race.
No, no chance. I'm just going in just for get better tyres, really.
You'll go for the fastest lap point, aren't you?
Well, I've got plenty of time left. If there was such a thing. Ted, over to you.
Henry, what do you?
I'm just on the pub, mate. Forget everything else. Immortal Cloud said they don't keep the same car. I guess he's on about the Women's Championship.
Right.
And Yasha said McLaren could only get back to the best from the last few years because they were obviously near the back.
They were the Williams.
They were the Williams.
They were still beating Williams, and they were terrible, with an engine that kept blowing up. So, shows you how bad Williams are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in a bad place.
They really are.
What happened to the 107 rule?
107%.
They're still within the 107 rule, but only
Just
by
like
about 2
they are.
seconds.
Yeah, we did when we were doing Baku last week. They were
It was
105%.
Weren't they?
Yeah.
And they've clearly not developed the car since because
They've got no money.
they've got no money.
But that is qualifying base. That isn't even race base. In race base, they are more than 107%. That's not what they go on.
Yeah, they're just turning the engine up to
Change.
quality and then going, right, we need to retain this engine because we can't afford another one.
Yeah, but then they smashed up anyway in the race or in quality. That's a little bit anyway.
Ah, just taking Ericsson around the outside. That's glorious. Don't ask me how, but I'm currently pushing up to the back of 11th and 10th.
Wasn't there a worry that Williams couldn't afford to come to Spain?
I heard that, but I haven't seen anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw nothing in the news about that.
We're going to box this.
It's all been in the paddock though, isn't it? It was very touch and go. It's 9 o'clock.
It is 9 o'clock
On a Saturday.
on a Saturday, and we
Regular crowd
are...
shuffles in. Oh, you dirty fucker! Hartley, you utter cretin. That sound is not Will's clock. It's counting the amount of times I've said the F word.
That's Hartley smacked both of us now, Jay.
Yeah.
If only my clock could bleep or dong over the swears.
I don't want to die over my swear, thank you.
I think I had an altercation with Hartley too. I think he's interfered with 3 of us.
Interfered.
Pit this
Oh,
What did I
madam.
say there? Christ alive. I thought I was nice and clean, that. I didn't
Hartley's
expect double...
Australian, isn't he?
Huh?
Hartley's Australian, isn't he?
Yes.
New Zealand.
Right, you make your own punchlines.
Where is he now? Hey, where is he now?
Probably
A
in
happier
Australia.
place.
I think
He makes
he's
it
in a
sound like he's
Ferrari.
died.
Sorry, no, he's dead.
I think he's at Ferrari now.
Yeah. Didn't he take Kvyat's?
He took Kvyat's space when Kvyat went back to Toro Rosso.
Yeah. I think Hartley got the better deal.
You say that, but Kvyat's a changed person, as we've mentioned earlier on. He was
5 laps.
Kubica?
no Kvyat.
I thought you said Kubica.
Oh, Kvyat's a shit. Just saying it.
They both crash, to be fair.
Yeah.
Kvyat still hasn't had exactly a clean race record this season. But nobody's interested anymore. It's like, oh yeah, well that's Kvyat, that's what he does.
Well, he is the torpedo, so...
I just like the fact that Viet's taking them kind of headlines away from Grosjean again.
Yeah.
Well,
Grosjean hasn't messed up yet.
Grosjean's is less of a case of screw it up for everybody else. It's a lot of the time he's screwed it up for himself. It's not always his fault. Whereas Kvyat, it always seems to be his fault.
It just worries me how many points Grosjean always seems to get on his licence. Stupid things. You do think at one point it's got to be his fault somewhere.
I'm not saying he's completely faultless, but in comparison to Kvyat, it's
Yeah.
a lot of it isn't. Also, he hasn't gone over his points on his license, so he's obviously doing something right when he's close to the edge. You know.
Yeah, by retiring usually in the first 3 laps.
Yeah, if it's that, I'll put points on your license. I'd retire the car too.
But points make prizes.
Yeah, if your prize is a day at the FIA disciplinary committee, not really a prize, is it?
It's a day off.
It's a day out somewhere.
Yeah, retiring your car's a day off though, so you know.
It saves your engine as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
Some plus sides.
Okay, right. Let's bring it back in with a subject that has been a bit touchy, but needs to be discussed. VSC, Virtual Safety Car. Now, we all know why it was introduced and the circumstances that it was introduced under. But what, if anything, could be done to make it better? You use its judgment correctly. What's the solution with VSC? Because after the last race, Gasly pulled into somewhere that was quite safe. Could have just been wheeled in, but they brought out the VSC. What can be done about it?
Is this to do with Hamilton, or what Hamilton reported as an issue with VSC?
Refresh my memory.
He claimed that basically he lost time under VSC.
So did everybody else.
Yeah.
But actually, it affected Leclerc more. It affected Leclerc more than anybody else because when the virtual safety car came out, he was on the pit straight, and when it ended, he was in the slow section.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Because Hamilton got it into the last corner before the straight, or the second to last corner, right?
Right.
And obviously you speed up when VSC ends. So a lot of drivers, I'm not just saying this for Hamilton, I'm saying this for anybody on a loses out, really. So if that's the problem, I'm not sure how you solve that problem.
That is an unsolvable problem because of the way the cars are spread out. Nobody can claim, oh, you've done that deliberately with the safety car to mess up my race.
Yeah.
Couldn't they have done double wave yellows instead, though, in that sector, going down to
Well,
it?
this is the big argument. That VSC was not needed. Well,
I think on a street circuit, given regardless of how safe you say a car has been parked, I think that especially on a street circuit, because they're a lot tighter in terms of runoff areas and things like that, it's not just for the safety of the drivers, it's for the safety of the marshals.
Yeah.
And if you start tinkering with the VSC, or the normal safety car for that matter, and then you have an incident involving a marshal, that is a hell of a lot worse than having somebody complain in a press conference.
So here's the question that I'm putting to you: should the VSC have a minimum lap requirement? So if it's deployed, say a minimum of 3 laps before it can randomly go off. A bit like a safety car. Safety car has to have a minimum lap deployment.
but then you're still going to be down if you're in a, because you're not going to be able to accelerate.
I think that should be a case of do it for X amount of laps, however long it takes to clear an incident, and then have it randomly switch off in a period of time between the lead car crossing the start-finish line and it being during that lap.
Yeah.
Rather than say the VSC is going to last 3 laps and then that'll happen. It's like, we'll turn it off at some point after this lap happens.
Okay.
That could work.
Yeah.
And then you'd also be proof that it was completely random as well, because the problem is, regardless of what you do, somebody will still complain because it will have affected them in one way or another.
Yeah.
So you might as well just stick with the safety car.
Stick with the safety car. Lard, we haven't heard from you for a while. Are you still there?
I'm still here, yeah, I'm just listening in. I tend to agree, with the virtual safety car, you can't just sort of go, okay, use it for 2 corners and then back away. Especially with something like a street circuit, as Jay says, it's too dangerous to just do something like that. So yeah, minimum 3 laps.
Yeah.
I'd say a minimum of 3 laps would be okay, it'd be realistic. Because you've got to have it something where it's similar to the safety car coming out, but it's less impeding on the drivers, because that's what it was designed for.
Yeah.
It was designed so you didn't have to bunch all the drivers back up again, but you keep them at the speed that is safer for the marshals if they are out.
Yeah.
Well, couldn't you just yellow flag that sector and go, you cannot go over, say, 30 miles an hour in that sector? Or whatever they deem reasonable speed.
But they really brought that out because of Japan, didn't they?
Yeah, because of what
Because
happened
that
with
was under
Bianchi.
double wave yellow when that happened. That accident happened.
But wasn't Bianchi slightly going a bit faster around that corner?
He was, but if the virtual safety car was on at the time, or the safety car was out,
Oh, there he is.
Then
Of
it
course
was-
it was. Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
But isn't the
Nigel.
virtual safety car only like 30% speed? Or if you set it to an incredibly slow speed through that one sector, it would be better.
And as the adrenaline dies down after another eventful
no, I
Grand Prix,
do
here
think
comes
it's
the
the
top
full
three,
lap
out
rather than
onto
just
the
that one
podium.
sector. It's just to be safe.
Just to show how messed up that race was on the podium for this. We've got a
Side
Williams, a Renault, and a Haas. So there's definitely something not right about that. I managed to finish a theoretical 10th, and then my 10-second time penalty put me back down to 14th, unfortunately.
Somehow I still leveled up.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know how I leveled up as well. I finished the race, so.
I think that's what it's based on.
I'm supposed to hit replay. Oh, damn it. Oh, well, we're just going to have a chat on the second half. Before we go to the second half, let's do some roundups, and then when we come back from the second half, we'll go to Henry for the news, and then we'll talk about Spain.
Tracks in Spain, I think I've got in my notes.
Spain. Yep. So, out of 10, what are we going to give it? I'll start with Jay. Marks out of 10 for that race.
For our race or for Baku?
For Baku, not this race. This race would have been a probably
Yeah, just going to say, because
one.
they're completely different ratings. Like I said, I don't think it was unexciting, but I do think it was uneventful. So it gets a soft 7.
Soft 7. Lad?
Soft 7.
I would say slightly worse at 6 because while it wasn't really, really dull like China, it was almost as bad as Australia.
Right.
Because Oz wasn't great either.
No, that wasn't. Will?
The race itself, I guess, is like a 6.
Yeah.
The weekend as a whole, I'd probably go for like 7 or an 8 because free practice was interesting.
Yeah.
But, somewhere between there.
Brill. Henry?
Race, I think 6. Weekend, 7 or 8. All the action was on in the free practice and qualifying, to be honest.
I think I'm with Jay. I'm going to go with a 7 for the race itself because you did have its nuggets of good. It was an interesting race. You're just expecting more action to happen. So it's not. I don't think it was as processional as Australia. I think it's certainly better than China. I think China's going down as the boring race of the season so far. But yeah, it was, I think because of previous races that have happened in Azerbaijan, we were expecting something better. So yeah, I say a solid 7. So any last comments about Azerbaijan before we wrap up for the break?
Shall we talk about Magnussen's helmet and his nose cone?
Go on.
Because he had a plain black helmet for the race.
Yeah.
And my study, Ted, picked up on this in his notebook. On the nose cone, he had "In Loving Memory" and then 3 black hearts, and each heart had an A in it.
Yeah.
Because he's sponsored by Jack and Jones, and they've sponsored him his entire racing career. And Anders Poulsen, I think it's the owner of Jack and Jones, he lost 3 kids in the terrorist attack in Sri Lanka. So Magnussen was quite close to him and his kids, so he wanted to do something to show his respect to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a I don't think there's anything else we can say to that, really, is there?
No.
Right, on that note, we're going to go for a quick 5-minute break. We will see you in 5 minutes. If you're listening to the podcast, you'll hear a little bit of a theme, and then we'll come back. But see you in 5 minutes. Take care. Bye. after a very, very eventful race, after talking about a very not so eventful race, we're back for part 2 of the Turn 1 podcast. As always, I don't know why I keep saying as always. I've picked that up from somewhere. I don't like it. I shouldn't say that. Continuing to join me tonight is we're going to go through the list again. We'll start with Lard.
Good evening.
Good evening. Henry.
Good evening.
Good evening. Jay.
Good evening.
Good evening. And Will.
Welcome.
Thank you. How's it? It was a good first half of the race. We're going to move on to part 2, but this is the part where I can chill out for a little bit because it's the news. Henry,
Hold on.
What?
I've got news for you, mate. You need to,
It was
involve
an
yourself in this, to be honest.
What?
Tracks for next year. So we're going to start tracks for next year.
I thought that's part of the news.
No, I've got plenty of news about the tracks next year. Come on, son.
All right.
Listen.
Okay, fine. It's over to Henry.
That's fine.
It's
Right,
over to.
right.
Hang on, let me redo that. This is the part of the podcast where I get to relax because it's over to Henry for tracks of his life.
What do you mean tracks?
Go!
No, okay. So,
Tracks of his tears.
tracks.
Jesus.
Oh. Should we-
Henry's now going to discuss tracks.
There we go.
Yeah.
Discuss
Okay.
tracks.
Okay. So next year, they are planning to stay at 21 tracks for next year.
Mhm.
But obviously, they've already announced Hanoi for next year, and they've already started putting the paddocks in. So obviously, Monza's come out recently and said they've already signed a new deal as well.
Mm.
So that would leave that next year you could be losing either Silverstone,
Yeah.
Hockenheim,
Yeah.
Mexico,
Right.
or Barcelona. Which one of those 4 would you like to lose?
Mexico. It's not even a
Barcelona.
discussion.
Barcelona.
If they're going to stick to 21, one of those 4, because they're all out of contract, one of those 4
I
would
think
probably
we
be
can
gone.
safely say that we have to keep Silverstone, regardless of what happens, just
Yeah.
because.
Yes.
Well, you would hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the Mexican Grand Prix. Generally, there's just something about it doesn't do it for me.
I love that stadium section. That is unique.
If
I don't know what it is about it. I just don't like the. I think it's just the track layout just disappoints me.
if I was to go with the fact that the fiscal side of things, I would go, and attendance as well, I'd go with Hockenheim.
I was going to say the same thing, to be honest.
Because Hockenheim had original agreement with the Nürburgring to alternate the races. Nürburgring, they couldn't pay it. They got really into some serious financial trouble. They've been bailed out. But Hockenheim, the attendances are nowhere near like Silverstone, Mexico, and Barcelona. Nowhere near. And let's face it, it's a hash of a track since they took up the original track.
I think it will be Hockenheim that goes, just for those bases that the fact there's not many fans there. They can't afford to sort of run it, to be honest. And I think Barcelona, Silverstone, Hockenheim, Mexico even will probably do a deal in the coming weeks, to be honest.
Mexico's always so well supported as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's no other races sort of in that area as such.
No.
See,
in the European area, if you were to lose either Barcelona or Hockenheim, the sort of races you could still go to nearby. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, Mexico's my personal choice, but Hockenheim seems the more logical kind of when you weigh them all up against each other. That Hockenheim would go.
Also, Interlagos is feared to be going in exchange for Rio de Janeiro.
Oh, I knew he was going to say this, Lard. I just knew someone was going to say this.
And of course,
have you written down a retort?
So, the Rio, or the president of Brazil has come out and said, obviously, as Lard said, they're going to build a track to host F1 from 2020.
Yeah.
But the Sao Paulo Council have come out and said, well, we're hosting it this year and next year. and we have the agreement with F1. So maybe they're not talking to each other, but they have earmarked a site in Rio for the track, which is where they hosted some of the Olympics in 2016.
Right.
And it used to be before that. It used to be a track, and it hosted some F1 track races even.
That shows how much the priority is on the infrastructure within Brazil. We all know it's a developing country rather than developed country. They've got a lot of poverty going on in there, and they're thinking of throwing the money away to rebuild a track around a disused Olympic park, rather than keeping the infrastructure that they've got going at the current track.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll also be safer though? Because don't forget the roads that go into Interlagos are notorious for being, for people being carjacked or robbed.
It happened to Williams, didn't it? It happened to Mercedes last year and the year before, I think.
It happened.
Yeah.
It's happened to a lot of teams over the years. I believe when I was reading the JB autobiography, it happened with him back when he was in the Brawn days, and Sauber have had it over the years as well. And I think pretty much every team on the grid's probably had it at one point or another.
Slightly unrelated, but Queen were playing a concert in Brazil and purposely put a whole kit together that they knew would get stolen, so the actual kit would get there. That's how bad that was. Mid-80s.
Yeah,
that's the sort of thing you're dealing with, and that was on sealed flights, and it didn't.
I like Sao Paulo as a racetrack. It's just the security.
Yeah,
really. I think
it's a shame, to be quite honest.
Yeah, because it's a very historic track, and it would be a shame for that one to drop off the calendar. Because there's always something that happens in it. Brazil's not exactly a boring race, is it? It's one of the races that can make or break championships. It's got a lot of action that happens. It's a great track.
It can just rain at any point. You can start off dry or start off wet, and it'll be dry within sort of 10, 15 laps, and then it's throws the field up, to be honest.
It's a different track.
But obviously, that's it. And also, the rumour is that we're going back to Holland.
Yes, I heard that was going to be the replacement for Barcelona.
Yeah.
I would accept that. Quite happily.
We've also lost Miami. They've said no.
Yeah.
I think we covered that on the last podcast, didn't we?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Is that more because the circuit was the most uninspiring circuit you've ever seen and looked a little bit like a cock and balls?
Hang on,
wasn't suitable for the
this is where I'm going to find it, and I'm going to get it on my stream here. The Miami
proposed Miami Grand Prix
F1
circuit layout. Essentially, over a bridge, turn around, come back over a bridge. Makes it look like either the cock and balls or a whale standing up and taking a very big piss.
That was not what they've done. Hang on. And I've got to go.
Very artistic.
And then they were talking about the London one around the Excel Centre.
And that is why Silverstone's a bit. That's why Silverstone's a bit worried about, agreeing a deal, so to speak. If then they go to London and do one in London as well.
Yeah. Which I think would be interesting if they actually use the Excel Centre as part of it.
Why don't they use the Millennium Dome? It's not being used for anything else.
It's the O2. It's
the O2.
It's the O2.
I've given up trying to keep up with the names of the place.
Well, it's actually a legitimate business now, the O2. It's a legitimate stadium. It's got cinema and everything in it. It's got all sorts in there now.
What they should do is just move the London Marathon to midweek and then have a 26-mile super race around the marathon circuit instead.
I've got the possible F1 track on screen. If you guys are when you guys are watching the stream,
I've got it. That's it.
Wow, that's the circuit they were gonna do.
Can you use the other bridge?
Sorry,
Couldn't they have used the other bridge?
Go around that large bend at the end.
That's the pitch straight.
Oh my gosh.
Put the pitch straight on the bridge, on the other one.
They did not.
Jesus.
No, but they could. That's what I'm saying. That's what they used the bridge for.
That's horrific.
Can you imagine the speed?
I mean,
And
I don't know why they're not using the road loop that goes round the end of the port that's leading. Is it Mia Marina?
Yeah.
Has that little stretch going out. It's got a road on it. Why not just turn that into the loop? Keep it all on one side of the river.
Yeah.
Or whatever that is. I don't know Miami well enough to say if that's a river or an inlet or what. A canal, the sea.
Yeah.
The Atlantic. I don't know. But yeah, if you just kind of take off the bit that goes over the bridges.
Yeah.
And then divert it so it goes down and around the port, that automatically makes it a much better track.
Yes, it does.
And like I say, it looks like a whale standing up taking a very big piss.
I'm going to remove this image from the screen now.
It's
not from your minds.
It is just horrible, isn't it? To be honest, it's just
really
horrible.
Is. I think Michael Patterson once just commented about that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he just said it's horrible now.
Do you think they did that just for like camera angles so it looked better? Is that where F1's going now? So it looks better?
But then you got the old...
the idea that you'd get to see a big, long, sweeping panoramic camera shot of the cars going both ways across the bridge.
Which would look awesome, don't get us wrong. I imagine that would be really cool, but it's not a good race.
Yeah, it's not a Hollywood movie, it's a race.
Yeah.
Have they raced in F1 before? Have they raced in Miami before?
Homestead. Yeah, they used to race in Homestead years ago.
Why can't they use that layout?
Hasn't it been developed over, to be fair? It's been a long time ago.
Just trying to find it. I got Detroit Street Circuit. It wasn't that, was it?
I remember Detroit, the old Formula 1 game on the Amiga.
Well, I've got another track that's come up from, I don't know when this is, but this is about the Danish Grand Prix. They're talking about a track possibility. I'm going to bring it up on the screens now. Yeah. This is the track possibility they're thinking of for the Danish Grand Prix. If you can see that. This should be on your screens about now.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I hope that crossover's a bridge, not just like flat.
I don't really have the stream open because it will. I'll just have it open. Can you drop it in the Discord as well so I can see it?
Yeah, sure. I'll drop it in Discord.
Thank you.
It'll drop it like it's hot for you, dude.
Hang on.
No comment.
It's got to try and do something here. Here we go. Desktop. Good thing is you can't see me save. Here we go. Huh? You've got it?
Got it.
Oh, thank you ever so much. But yeah, what do you think of that as a circuit?
I mean, surely they're going to have a bit of a Hot Wheels problem when it collides over the crossover.
I think that's an underpass. I'm sure that looks like an underpass. If you have a look at the layout of the bridge and that road beforehand, it looks proper underpass there. Could be a tunnel.
Kind of like Suzuka.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a go at Suzuka, and is it as Abu Dhabi, the underpassy bit there?
Yeah.
Suzuka is amazing. That's the difference.
Yeah.
I suppose you'd actually have to look at it as in person to decide what you thought of it. Be fair.
So,
right, yes. Looks a bit bland.
A bit bland.
It's another street circuit as well.
Yeah.
That is the problem. Is nobody's building new circuits.
No.
For obvious financial reasons. But the answer isn't then to put new street circuits in, it's to reinvest and reinvigorate the existing tracks.
Absolutely.
I feel if you're celebrating Formula One's history by getting the 1000th race wrong, but that kind of thing. If you're doing all this kind of, we're moving into the future, but we're going to learn from what's come before, then start using stuff that came before. Stop building new stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, they shut and closed down the Rockland Speedway. That's no more.
Yeah,
I read about that.
I'm just making the map, the image a bit more for the stream, for anyone who can see it on the stream, so you guys can see it a bit better. But yeah, that's interpretation. But yeah, I agree with you with investing in circuits, because that feels the way that Liberty Media are going. Street circuit, street circuit, street circuit, street circuit, street circuit. It feels more.
why don't we just go the whole hog and just standardise it and make everything just a bloody 4,000 metre loop that you only ever turn left on? Because that works so well, doesn't it?
Is it kart I'm thinking of? Kart.
I don't know. Some of them are quite exciting.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, not for 800 laps.
No, not too much there.
He's turning left. He's turning left. Turning
Sounds like
left.
It sounds like my sat nav the other day. when my
400 yards, turn left, then turn left again.
It does sound like my sat nav the other day when my pupil missed a turn when I was doing sat nav training. On the next street, take left. On the next street, take a left. Recalculate. On the next street, take a left.
How do you have to train for a sat nav? It tells you what to do.
Independent driver. Yeah, but some people don't know how to do it. Some people don't know how to do it. They don't know how to follow sat nav.
It tells you, for God's sake.
It says go left. How can you miss that?
I've got to train for that.
There's big arrows on the screen telling you it's that street there. Turn left, it tells you.
You know when I take pupils on the street and they go, how do you feel about sat-nav? And the first word is nervous. That kind of puts a key into it and how far I have to go back in order to go forward.
Give them an A to Z. Right, to work it for themselves. Bloody hell. Yeah?
Back in my day when I started learning to drive, I didn't have any GPS.
Hang on. Jay, just say that in Lard's voice. Just say that with what Lard said, please. This is how it's supposed to sound. Back in my day, when there was no sat-nav.
Back in my day, when I were a lad, we didn't have horse powers. We just had horses.
Lard, that's how you're supposed to say it, buddy.
Are you making fun of my voice?
You could have said during the war, and then it would have been better. We're losing track. We really are losing track on the track thing.
Before you move on from the track thing,
yes.
Can you show people that picture?
Oh, Christ, what picture?
That's a thumbnail if ever I saw one. That is what I see when you look at the Miami street circuit.
Jay's been on the internet and found this.
1 second, people. I will do it. Oh, it is opening it up as well. Are you ready for this? There we go.
That is my vision of the Miami street circuit, and basically my actual opinion of it, to be quite honest.
Is this on the podcast Discord group? Is this on our Discord group?
I'm not saying anything about blue balls on that.
That's his balls. That's his feet. He stood up.
Oh dear.
Anyone who wants to see this, we're going to keep it on the Discord group on the Turn 1 podcast. You might have to move that to the grid walk one there, Jay. Because no one can see the rundown. That's a locked one. Oh, Jesus. I've got to switch screen. Okay.
There you go. And I've pinned it to the channel. That's there forever. That is my contribution to this week's news.
Henry, over to you for the serious part, the news, whilst everyone can look at it.
I was just going to ask, where would you like an F1 track? Is there anywhere in the world where you would like an F1 track?
Corsica.
I think I've got a tracker's answer on the screen.
Yeah. Take the rallying track from Corsica and change that into an F1
Sorry.
track instead.
Corsica, that's a good shout, to be honest.
Corsica.
Or you do it in Sardinia and have it kind of twinned with Corsica in a way, I guess.
Could do. Anybody else?
I still think a Vegas one might be for very gimmicky, you know.
What, straight up and down the
Driving around
Sunset
like
Strip?
Uh,
How
yeah.
thrilling.
It's pure gimmick, pure gimmicky.
Just turns head on the stream and it's Tracker just trying to hold his breath.
I think New York, proper on the island of Manhattan, not like off of it. I think New York, a proper street circuit around there, because it's got good grids, it's got wide streets. I think it would be quite a good circuit.
What about Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco?
Oh, yeah, that's a good shout.
I fancy a little island.
You may struggle a little bit to make a track that doesn't have too much incline for certain sections of it, but down by the actual port itself, it's fairly serviceable. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever played Metropolis Street Racer on the Dreamcast or Project Gotham Racing on the original Xbox, but that had street circuits in San Francisco, and they worked really well.
Yeah, I remember PGR on the Xbox. I'm with you on that. Did you just say you'd like a track on a little island?
Yeah, Seal off Jersey or the Isle of Man or the Isle of Wight. Or
The Isle of Wight would be good.
Yeah, you could race around the whole of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
F1 does
Bermuda.
TT.
Just around the outside of Bermuda, the whole of Bermuda, because it's small enough.
You could do though, couldn't you? Or New Zealand.
Luxembourg. It's not an island, but you know, the entire streets, like infrastructure of Luxembourg, just close it for a week. There's enough people. There's a small enough amount of people in Luxembourg that you could ship everybody out for a week on the FIA's dime and still make a profit.
Cornwall, the independent state of Cornwall.
Okay.
The Welsh Grand Prix. We're getting a bit carried away now.
I'm also running out of time as well. We need to move this on.
Let's go.
Henry, news headlines and brief one, please. Thank you.
That's it for me from the news section. I've got a bit on the updates, but we can talk about that when we talk about Spain.
That was the quickest news section in the world. Welcome back.
Boom, done.
Right.
He's like, I've got all these things for the news. No, wait, it's just one item.
Honestly, hey, this is the thing though. Henry and I have a channel on the Discord group that has news for podcast, and I put down on here. This is what I put: Williams to be compensated for Baku. Gasly's fuel limit was out by 0.02 G of. That's it. Kubica insists pace is better than it looks. Spanish GP Ferrari bringing engine upgrades towards flight for Mercedes. Interlagos to be dropped from 2020 Canada. Yeah, we've discussed three of the things, maybe three of the things there, but there was still more news.
You're going to talk about Kubica?
Oh,
he's shit.
Hang on,
shit.
Kubica. This is going to be a feature we'll just put in. I think Kubica bought the car. Kubica bought the car home after the race in one piece.
Last.
Oh, and he got a penalty.
He still bought the car home.
I know. But he got a penalty at the start of the race.
I could push the car around the track 54 times and bring it home in one piece and still get it before he did.
I still love the fact that Sky Sports put that as a driver rating. He bought the car home. That was.
That's the only good news for Williams at the minute, isn't it, to be honest?
I think given the car he's been given, that's still quite impressive in its own way.
And that was the worst track for him for his arm, his right arm.
Well, apart from Monaco.
So,
I reckon it's worse than Monaco. So,
or any other race where he possibly has to turn the steering wheel.
So
pretty much.
He should go into IndyCar. He'd be fine doing the 500 laps, turning left.
So let's take that straight into the free practice and quality of Spanish Grand Prix, and look at Q1, Kubica and Russell, two teammates. What was it? You said he had the same chassis now as Russell, Kubica.
Russell's got a new chassis, and Kubica's got Russell's chassis this race.
The superior one that he was like home being hard done to because his is way better.
So so he was 1.2 seconds behind Russell when he qualified.
Yep.
Yeah.
1.2 seconds.
Williams have said, or I've found notes to say that they can't find anything wrong with his chassis either.
It's just him.
So,
He's shit. There's not much else to say, is there?
I can't really add to that. I have I don't know what the word is for it. I don't feel sorry for Kubica. It was like because of how he was before the accident, and he was a pretty good driver, but he was in the middle of the road team. He never really got to show his potential there. I really liked him. I like him as a person, but I think as a driver coming back, everybody's put so much stock into him, and it's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
it was nice to see him come back. That's not. But he spent too much time away.
Yeah.
I think he's lost some or a lot of his speed.
Yeah.
Depends
That's just by being at Williams, though. That's the thing.
It was 9 tenths slower last year in a Renault compared to their qualifying times.
Yeah. I mean, should more young blood have been put in that seat? Since obviously weren't going to keep Massa in there. Because they need
The Kubica to bring more money into the constructor in terms of sponsorship and stuff.
Could well be.
It's like it's a case of Kubica being there is actually keeping Williams afloat right now.
Right.
They did say that he wasn't the only reason. The money wasn't the only reason they had him there.
They've obviously gone for.
Rubbish going on.
They've gone for. He's obviously bought his seat personally, and they want somebody with experience, but he hasn't really got any experience of these cars.
We'll be learning a lot from him, at least for the off-track side of things.
I think Georgia got a sensible head on his shoulders anyway. Look at his press interviews.
He does looks like a good prospect, doesn't he?
You look at Hamilton in his first season, and you look at George Russell. George Russell's got much more level head.
Really
And the talent.
Do we know if Williams have got backers behind them? Have they got any plans for any takeovers or anything? I know a few races ago we said there was something going on behind the scenes, but do we know any updates?
They were suggested they were being bought out and the name was going to get changed or something, and then that never seemed to come to fruition.
That was Bahrain time, wasn't it?
But I don't know how much of a rumour that was, whether it was just...
It's a case of do they want to sell it, though, don't they? It's whether they want to sell it in it first.
It struck me that thing as a rumour that Williams almost put out themselves in order to get other companies involved and kind of like, oh, well, we could buy Williams.
Yeah. When
in actuality, there was nobody
there.
Competition, you know?
Yeah.
Can we see Jordan coming back? Eddie Jordan just going, I'll buy it.
Hell yeah.
Could you imagine?
Probably do a decent job.
Can you see Eddie Jordan taking over it and not wanting to change the name, though? You can't call it Williams Jordan.
No, he'll want to call it Jordan.
No.
Jordan,
yeah, he will,
wouldn't he?
I think they. I think
you could merge it. There could be Jordan Williams, but you just call it his initials, and it'd be J Dub Racing. I'll buy Williams. Problem solved. It probably only cost me £1.
You get that to IP change as well.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. To be fair, I shouldn't say that. It's harsh.
Right. Anyway,
it's whether they want to sell Williams or whether they just want investment.
Well, that's the thing.
And it's also whether they are gonna be stubborn about it and go, we don't need any help, we don't need any money, or whether they're actually going to go, yes, we need help and we need.
They'd rather drive it into the ground under the Williams name than give somebody else controlling stake in it. I think it's part of the problem.
Yeah, they needed somebody like the guy who's bought Racing Point. To be honest, they need somebody with a bit of money, that can just say, well, here's an extra 20 million a year or 30 million a year, whatever you need. This is a long-term project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's face it. I mean, I've got.
Can we move to Spain before it's too late?
Yes, let's do it. This was Spain actually with qualifying, but yeah, go for it.
Well, me, Darren, I didn't want to set the floor. Sorry. No, you're the one with the notes. You go move it on to Spain.
All right, Bottas. What a stunning lap he did.
Dominant.
Absolutely.
Pure domination from him.
Even though he made a mistake, he just knew he would. You just knew that he would put it on pole.
There was never even a doubt of it when Hamilton went back out again to try and nick it back. That's the thing. You looked at Hamilton's lap, and it was just like he never really seemed to have control of the car. Oh, it was something that was said by one of the commentators.
Yeah, it was all over the place.
Like every corner he threw it round, it looked like he was fighting the car.
He was pushing too hard to try and get pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, which causes not necessarily mistakes because it was still a pretty good lap, but it's not good by Hamilton standards.
No.
If it's good enough for second, it's still good.
It buried the Ferraris, didn't it, by nearly a second?
Yeah.
Top of Bottas's, so that's nearly 2 seconds Bottas was ahead.
Did Leclerc screw up one of his outlaps?
No, in Q2 he damaged his car, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Hamilton had to revise tyre strategy because they sent him out too early or something. That came from Toto Wolff after the race, but after qualifying. So I don't know if you want to read into that.
That's like a rare admission of fault by Toto Wolff.
Apparently.
Christ.
I still reckon Ferrari's going to win tomorrow.
I don't think Ferrari are, because they're in practice sessions. Their race pace is about half a second slower, 5 tenths slower than Mercedes. I
Mercedes have won the mind game, though, haven't they? They're like, Ferrari's the better team.
I think Ferrari started off with a quicker car, and Mercedes have got a load of drag off it, and they've got a car that's good at most things now, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at the times between Mercedes and the nearest Ferrari, and the closest that I can see was FP1, with Vettel being just over a tenth off of Bottas. Q1 there was Leclerc, who was just under. So you got 0.313 off of Bottas and 0.409 for Leclerc. But then Q2, they're 6 tenths behind Hamilton, and Q3 he's 2 tenths behind Hamilton, but Hamilton, he's in the faster car.
It's just, all Mercedes have done in Q2 and Q3 is just turned the engine up, and Ferrari haven't got an answer.
Well, to be fair, hasn't Red Bull come fourth? So even Max has beaten the Ferrari, which has got to be slightly worrying, right? Under engine, first proper year in that car, and it's beaten the Ferrari. And Leclerc's proven himself to be a good qualifier.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good for Ferrari.
No.
With the new package.
It really isn't. It's that thing I was saying about a few races ago. That car during testing was flattering Ferrari.
Ferrari did the wrong thing in testing. They just went for quick lap times. They didn't actually sort of get any real sort of race pace down, it seems. They just went for the fastest lap and the headlines. You know, it's obviously like they've just gone, okay, what we'll do is we'll go for the fastest lap. The Italian media will see that and they'll get them off our backs for a bit.
Yeah.
So I suppose the question is, have they lost the Constructors' Championship already?
Yeah.
I think short of a miracle in terms of an upgrade, probably have, yeah.
I think so.
I think the Drivers' Championship's still competitive.
Yeah, I think it's...
Constructors.
I think Bottas will get his World Championship this year. That's how I think I see it. But Constructors, that's it. It's game over. I know it's only 5 races in, but Ferrari are now consistently playing catch up when Mercedes will now just consistently progress.
It's up to Ferrari to push for it, isn't it? And that's what causes further mistakes.
But they're not even getting third and fourth, are they? They're getting third and sixth or third and fifth. They're dropping too many points.
Some of that is admittedly out of their control. Things happen, But yeah,
Ferrari will make the same mistake at the end of the year that they made last year, and they'll just sack people and just go, "Okay, you come in, you've got to win the title, or you've got to do this." There's no long-term sort of plan with Ferrari. There's no philosophy. There's nothing. It's just come in, you've got to win the title, or you've got win the drivers or whatever. If you don't, you're sacked.
Yeah,
but I think it's still too early in terms of the season and the championship for them to turn around and go, right, what should we do for next year's car?
Yeah, no, you're right on that one. Give it till maybe France. See where the championship is, because there may be something happen tomorrow.
I mean, anything can happen. I mean, Bottas is on pole. He might completely screw it up and plow it into the first turn.
Yeah.
Off into the wall and get idiot of the week with the process. But
even if they do DNF Mercedes, they've still got a faster car at the minute.
Ferrari need 1, 2, 3 or 4 back to back, and they need Mercedes not to pick up any points. That's what they really need to bring them back into it. And I can't see the Mercs breaking down.
It's unlikely, definitely. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely.
Well, that leads us on quite nicely into predictions, I think, for this race, if I'm honest. Before we do that, let's have a look at the prediction scorecard, because there's some high scoring points last week.
I've not seen it yet for last week's.
So this is.
I don't think I'm going to be surprised, but
this is how it is after week 3. But I'm going to say this. So Damien, who was on here last week, guessed Bottas, Hamilton, and Vettel first, second, third. He got the maximum of 9 points there for first, second, and third. But the scores are pretty close for after week 1. This is what we're like. Well, after week 2, this is what we're like now. So I'm on 9.5 points. Jay, you're on 9.5 points as well. Lard, you're on 8. Yeah. Lard, you're on 8. Will, you're on 16.5. So you still got a lead. Henry, you're on 8 as well, and Damien is on 12. So after 3 rounds, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you get first, second, and third right, you've got it right. Because Will, you got last week you got 1 point for guessing. So the point system for anyone who's listening or anyone who's watching is first, second, and third in the correct order. 4 points, 3 points, 2 points in that order. If it's any of the top 3, they've got a nomination for. So say Hamilton, Bottas, for example, but they said first and second. It's just a point each. So you get a kind of a nomination point. Best of the rest is 1 point. Fastest lap is 1.5 points, and idiot of the week is 1 point. And thankfully, no one got idiot of the week last week because it was down as Danny Rick, because we have to go with the driver, even though 1, 2, 3 of us, including myself, put down the lorry driver. Has to be a race driver.
I said Hulkenberg, so I should get half a point. It was a Renault.
You're not getting anything, mate. You've got a 16.5 point.
You don't
know
deserve
what? Hang on. For that, I'm bringing in a penalty.
Oh God!
Are you penalising him for his dodgy aerodynamic package for this week as well?
You're losing half a point. There we go. You lost it live on stream. Half a point.
Oh, sorry. Can we restart the race, please?
Restart the entire podcast.
So let's take the predictions down. So I'll go first. I've got mine written down, and I'll go through what Damon's got, and I'll go through it in order. Okay. So this is my predictions. Bottas first, Hamilton second, Vettel third, Kvyat best of the rest. I think he will do it. I've got Bottas as fastest lap, and I've got Lance Stroll as idiot of the week. I've got Waffles as well, which coincidentally is pretty similar. Bottas first, Hamilton second, Vettel third. He's got Sainz as best of the rest, Hamilton for fastest lap, and again he's gone with Lance Stroll for idiot of the week. Jay,
come back to me in a minute.
Lard.
Okay, I'm going to go with my predictions on Fantasy Grand Prix.
Okay.
So first Vettel,
Vettel.
second Hamilton, third Leclerc,
Yeah.
fastest lap Leclerc,
Yeah.
idiot of the week. I'm going to go Hulkenberg.
Right.
That's a good shout, actually.
Through his qualifying, when he screwed up in qualifying and
Yeah.
took off his front wing.
His
Yeah.
new front wing.
And what about
Best of the rest?
Yeah.
I think, let me have a quick look. I think best of the rest is going to go to K-Mag.
Oh, that's a good shout.
Okay.
I'm ready now.
Jay.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, you're not going to like this at all.
Go for
But
it.
I'm gonna go Bottas, then Verstappen,
Right.
and then Leclerc.
Ooh, I like that. I
Interesting.
actually do like that.
Yeah, I'm going completely out of left field.
Yeah.
Rest of the rest is going to elicit a groan from Will when his clock stops. Is going to be Roman
Grosjean.
Grosjean.
Yeah.
What do you want? An idiot of the week and a fastest lap?
Yes, please.
Shut up, Will. Jesus. Idiot of the week is going to be Vettel.
Vettel. Okay.
Yeah, but it's
interesting.
the reason I'm going with that is because it's going to involve Hamilton as well.
Hence
Oh,
why
God.
he's missing from 2 and 3.
Yes.
Hmm.
And Max Verstappen can have fastest lap.
Verstappen.
I've got to go rogue early already. That's the thing.
Will.
Hamilton in first.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Verstappen in third. Fastest lap to Leclerc. Idiot of the week, Grosjean. Best of the rest. He's a tricky one to call. It is tricky. I'm going to go, however, for Aaron Sainz home race. Bit of a bolster.
Science. And that
So
just
that's going
leaves...
to Will up is that I've gone for best of the rest for Grosjean and he's gone for idiot of the week.
Do you know what? I went for Grosjean as... No, Damien went for Grosjean as idiot of the week back in China. I'm just seeing where you got Grosjean best of the rest back in Bahrain, and I think I went for him as idiot of the week.
Yeah, it always seems to be he's both for somebody.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? He is. He's the one that does it. Henry.
Hello. I think Bottas to win it.
Yeah.
Hamilton second.
Yeah.
Vettel third.
Yeah.
Rest of the best.
Rest of the best.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know what to say. I'll go Grosjean.
Grosjean. Yeah.
I think it'll be a Haas. Anyway. Idiot of the week. Oh, I don't know. Hulkenberg.
And fastest lap.
Fast. Bottas.
Well, I've got to do wrap up now. But gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on the podcast today. It's been a blast. I hear fireworks going on outside. Oh.
A literal blast.
It has been a literal blast. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
No worries.
I'll do the wrap up.
All right.
So you can find us on iTunes. You will soon be able to find us on Spotify once I've got everything all sorted out. You can find us on Twitter at Turn1Podcast. You can email me at podcastturn1@gmail.com, and don't ask me about why I think about it because I'm not going to respond. And we also have a new Facebook page sorted out as well. It's going to be launched when Henry's taking care of that.
As soon as possible, mate. I need to add you as an admin, and then that's pretty much it, really. Then it can go. It's off to go.
It'll be ready sooner than Williams bring up an upgrade.
Yes, it'll be sooner than that.
Oh.
But
You got till next year.
That gives me plenty of time, then, surely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
absolutely. But from myself and everyone who has joined me live tonight, and from all the people in the chat who's contributed to your comments as well, thank you ever so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Monaco. Until then, take care.